Good morning, Patreon members. How are you today? It's Thursday, Dye Pot Thursday. Doing it on a Thursday makes a change Thursday. Right, so the theme for this month, I picked it because it's my birthday week and that's how it goes, because usually I've all turned into a bunch of unruly so-and-sos. So anyway, without further ado, I put up the post of the colours that I've chosen this month. If it's your birthday next month, give me a shout and I might let you choose the next 3 picture colourways for next month. Right, so there we go. So we've got this gorgeous, I can't tell whether they're knitted. No, they are actually flowers. I thought the colours were absolutely gorgeous. So you've got these rustic orange. You've got like a sagey greeny colour that they've used as an influence for these ones. You've got this mid grey, this lovely golden yellow, and a plain white. So this one, for the grey, I'm going to go with controversial. I'm using as my base, right? So 50% of it is going to be light grey Corriedale. So that's what I'm going with. So I don't need to dye a lot up for it. So what I need to do is dye up some of this yellow. I'll have a look around my studio now while I'm here. So I think I'm going to go with this golden yellow. And I'm going to dye the green on some wool. The white I can use from, I've got a load that came in a Botany Bay bag in Geo Corn. Now, I'm going to have a see, because I can't remember. It's been so long since I've had any of this in. I'm going to see if I can actually dye this. If I can, perfect. But I'll take that down with me into the dye tub. I can't remember. It's been so long ago, because obviously there's some protein fibres that you can't actually dye. Not protein fibres, plant-based fibres that you can't dye. Well, without using cold water dyes, and that's just a faff that I'm not willing to get into. But I do have some gorgeous green, pastel green bamboo over there. And I do have some orange bamboo and I do have some golden yellow bamboo. So we may use those as the highlights in between this base layer of grey Corriedale. And then the white I can use from undyed plant-based fibres. Okay, or I'll go with Angelina, or shall I miss the Angelina out this time round? We'll see how I feel when I go to blend it up. So that is getting dyed up today. So I'm going with 2 of my favourite breeds. Here we go again. Joe's been so selfish this month. I have got Wensleydale. I love Wensleydale. I think it's a lovely underrated wool. A lot of people just use it for locks. And I have got some cream BFL. Now the cream BFL is actually going to go with this one, because if you look at it, they're slightly darker in tone. See how this is more cream and that's more white. So the BFL I'm going to use for the second picture, which is this one here. And this is the mountain range. I love this really dark denim blue on there. And then we've got these greeny colours. So there's lichen, there's moss. And then we've got this soft sea blue. And then this lighter version. And then we've got this, what colour is it? Calls it pistachio, but it looks more like an olive to me. So we're going down that route on that one. So I think we're looking at more plant-based fibres hand dyed. And then we'll do I think a mid blue first, then we'll go with this mossy green, and then we'll go into, well, that's lichen, then mossy green, and then I think we'll sort of careen down into maybe a dash of olive. I'm not sure. I might actually use olive dye on a plant-based fibre. Okay, I've got some milk fibre which usually takes quite well, and then we've got this darker blue which I think I might do as a highlight colour. So that's another hand dyed bit. So those are the colours I'll probably pick out of those. So, but definitely on the Blueface Leicester is going to be a mix from this colour. So you've got the sky representing. Then we're going to go down a little bit and we're going to find a sort of light sagey greeny colour, because we've got the top of this mountain. Then it starts going into this lichen. Then it goes darker into the moss. And then it goes back into these bluey colours again. So I think I'm just going to stick with this sort of region here more than anything. I like those colours, and I can add the darker tones and pigments in as a layering. Okay, so my highlight colours. The next one we've got is this one, and I'm going to use the Wensleydale for this one, and the Wednesday will be used on this one as well, okay, for dyeing up my oranges and stuff. So we've got this soft grey blue, so that's going to be a bit of pigment mixing. So I'll get one of my blues out, one of my lovely, like I use Dharma dyes most of the time, so I think it might be Alpine Blue or Baby Blue Eyes with a touch, just a touch of silver grey, just to bring that colour down. And then I've got this lovely mint green, and then we've got this sage again, and then we've got a more darker bluey sage. So I think with whatever colour I use with this, I shall add a little bit of my blue steel into that to hopefully bring out this colour. And then I'll use whites as my highlights, and I may throw in some plant-based fibre into this colourway collection that's here, maybe even this mid blue, because it doesn't seem to be represented here, and I quite like this colourway. So that's what we're doing today. So hold on to your pants, ladies, we're off. So I'll catch you downstairs in a bit. I'll get all the dye pots out and get all sorted and organised. It shouldn't take too long, because obviously I'm using this as a 50% base layer, so I don't need a lot of the other colour, and I will be putting these into blend sets as usual. Right, I'm off. Last month's Patreon bats are all on the website with their partner blend sets as well, if you want to order those. And if you just add Patreon, there's an automatic, whenever you go and do your order once a month, there's an automatic discount in there. It changes from month to month. It could be £3.50 one month, it could be £5 the following month. If it's a free post, I will let you know if that's the circumstances. But yeah, so just add Patreon in capital letters when you go in. You can use it once a month as part of being your membership, and they're available on there now. Anyway, I'm off. I'll catch you in a bit. Right, got a new angle, a new perspective, people. Okay, so we're going to start off with this one first. So I have this new dye called Macaroni Cheese, which is really nice. It's not an in-your-face orange. It's really quite lovely. I've pulled out some pistachio, and I have some, hopefully, golden yellow in my pots over there. They're all ready. I've laid my tray out because I want the colours, we could do the Q&A from last week, I want the colours to be in block colours, okay? So I want a section of one, section of another, and a section of another, okay? This just gives me a bit more control. And when you're laying out, make sure they're touching the edges of your tray, especially when you're working with a variety of colours. And that's partly because what you want to do is stopping the colours from moving down into the next section. They'll do it anyway, but you just want to try and put a bit more of, I want you to stay there, so stay there. If you go a little bit further on the next one, it's not too bad, but that's where I want you to be. Then I've got some NGO corn there. I've got some rose fibre here, and another fibre as well. Remember that when I got up the stairs. And I've laid them down the side so they catch a bit of each of these colours in that tray, okay? So I've done my citric acid, it's in the bottom already. So I'm going to get my macaroni cheese, and I'm going to put that one in first. And I'm just going to pour it right over the top, on top of this Blueface Leicester. Pour it down the sides, make sure it gets into those other fibres. And then I'm going to add in my yellow right over the top of there. And these are pretty simple ones to do, because we're not faffing about with a big dye pot, and I'm going to take our times doing stuff. And then I'm going to put in this green and the pistachio and add that in there, and then give it a squish. I've got my jumper on because it actually is chucking freezing. I'm hoping I might get a bit of sunshine. I can get these out on the line today instead of turning the fire on. There we go. And there's the green. Give me a proper dab about in this water. There we go. That's all we're going to do with that. I'm going to turn on the heat on low. And it's warm water as well that I've used from a dye stock solution, because it helps the dye powder to melt properly. Especially if you're using some dyes that look like it's got grains of salt. Some you get powder form, some look quite grainy. And when you use the heat on the water, just a little bit of a warmth water, not a cold water, it helps then become soluble in the water, okay? And also my citric acid that's in the bottom of the tray. So I'm just going to give these a rinse out. Leave that to do that. It won't take long. And it's pretty simple really, and you can see over there I've got a jug of this pink water, and that's actually from a dye session that I did the other day there for bats for next week, and I'm saving that citric acid water for my heathers out my front garden and out my back garden, because they love ericaceous soil. I don't have ericaceous soil, I have quite an alkaline soil because of the clay bed and where I live. I suppose the salt air helps them grow a little bit better, because heathers do really well growing in the wild up in the back of the hill. But it doesn't do any harm to add a little bit of citric acid in there once it's all cooled down and settled, and then take that out and put that in my garden, which I do now and again this time of the year. So I'm just going to turn that heat down, and I'm going to move my tray up. So this should look really quite pretty. It's unusual colours. It is going to be muted down with some whites, and you know what, I think I've just used the wrong one. Wasn't the blue face Leicester going to be used on the mountain one? I think it was. Oh well, it doesn't matter, I've done it now. Oh well, oopsies. It doesn't matter. It was a nice idea, it was a nice little thought, but we've gone with this one, and that's what we're sticking to, because we've done it and it's too late. Thankfully it's not for a custom order, otherwise I'd be going off and finding more wool to do it again. Okay, so that's the colour we've got there. So next one we want to go with, I'm going to look for the colours to go with the spring green, the cloud blue, the spearmint and storm. Now I do have spearmint green dye, so let's just turn you around here, because there's not much to look at over there, and I've got my boxes of dyes over here. Okay, so what we've got bright aqua, radioactive, lichen, forest green, tobacco leaf, sage leaf. Well, we need that anyway. Spearmint breeze I have got, so I've got some spearmint, but I may add a little bit of green to that, maybe even a little bit of pistachio, just to calm that down. Then what else do we want? We want a cloud blue, so this is my blues tray anyway, so that's bright aqua. Why are my greens in my, no, that's my greens, right, hold on a second, where's my blues tray? Here it is. Have all my boxes labelled. I don't want blue steel. Sea spray, yes I do want some of that, there's not a lot left. I want tornado grey, alpine blue, I don't want peacock blue, what's that one, navy, oh I can feel a sneeze brewing, twilight, that's dark, what's that one down there, indigo, looking for the right colour, extreme blue. Baby blue eyes is one that I definitely want to play with. I want that in there, and I want the sea blue, and we want a spring green, it says. So the closest to a spring green in my dyes is actually an apple one. It's called apple something. Emerald, lichen, radioactive, I don't want to go, there we go, sour apple. So we'll put them there. Yeah, so we've got these nice cloudy blues, and I think what I'll do, if you look on here, there's darker versions of the green and darker versions of the blue. So what I think I'm going to do with those is pull out some, I think I'll go with a darker sage green and a dash of lichen, put that to one side, and I think I'll have a look at. Oh no, I can add white in, can't I? So I don't need a third colour, but I have got these other fibres that I want to use and dye up. So we'll give you a turn around again. Turn you around so you can see the oven. I just need, where's my tongs? Where's my tongs when I want them? There they are. Oh. So that water's looking clear. Just got to give that a few more minutes. The yellow's gone and exhausted. The green has nearly exhausted. Just needs a few more minutes, and the orange has got just a little bit more to do. So I'll bring the orange down so it's on the heat, and maybe turn that up a little bit. Now I've got issues with me plug in my sink at the moment, so I'm constantly having to top up the water. So bear with me a second. One, two, three, and then there's one more pot. Four. And we're going to get these colours now here, and I've just literally put a smidge in. It's not a lot. So this one is the sour apple, and I don't want it really strong. I'm literally putting in that much. It's quite a strong colour. I'm going to add that in there. And I'm going to add in baby blue eyes. Again, I don't need a lot of it. I want these to be really quite light and airy feeling colours on the wool. Now they've got sea spray, and again, that's that one in there, and that's got like a greeny tinge to it. If you wanted to do that, you could use, if you've got sage in your dye box, use a bit of sage, a tiny bit of sage with a dash of teal. A little bit of some blue with a dash of teal, and that'll help bring that down so it's got like a greeny tinge to it. Right, so I think we're fine on here. Let me just turn that around so the last is green can get saturated into those pigments, those wools. You haven't dyed solidly, but I'm fine. Can you see that there's still light patches? I'm quite happy with that because I don't want it a dominant colour. I will be blending it up with some natural wools and the grey as well. So I don't want it in your face. I'm quite happy having the pigment come out through the back because there is white and creams that are in this picture. So that's what I'm going to sort of try and stick with if I can. Right, I think we're done. So I'm going to turn this top off, get this in the sink. There we go. Put that over there. Add in my citric acid, which is probably equivalent of about not even 10 grams. Citric acid is really quite strong anyway. You don't need a lot of it, the lemon, because it's like it's not an acid, it is a citric based, so lemon juice dried sort of thing about it. So I'm just going to add some water just down the bottom of it. There's warm water in that kettle that I've took straight from the tap. Right, next. Now I'm going to lay out my fibre. No, this one's going separately, isn't it? So my tray's actually probably too big for my needs for this, but we will carry on regardless, and we'll figure it out as we go along. So here we go. I'm gonna try and edge my blue in, my Wensleydale fibre in. It's a really long staple length, so it comes out as quite a very skinny roving. Right, a bit more. I think there's about 150 grams of this one that I've actually weighed out upstairs. So once the water goes in there, okay, so again, I'm leaving those fibres, oh crikey, these fibres here that I want to dye. I'm going to leave them till last. I'm not going to dye them along the side. Or I could do actually this one. I'll move this over a little bit and I will put in my indigo corn fibre in the edge there, so that can catch, and then I will dye these two in the other two bits of pigment that I've put to one side. So I'm gonna go down the route of blue, green, blue, green, blue, green. No, actually, Jill, don't do that. That's really naff. I'm going to go with green at the top. So that's my apple green. Then I'm going to go in with my Spearmint Breeze. There we go. Then I'm going to go in with the Sea Spray Blue from Dharma Dye, because it's got that hint of green tinge in there, but only ever so slight. And then I've got my Baby Blue Eyes. Okay, I'm just going to give that a scoosh down. So there's the apple green in with the Spearmint Breeze. And the apple green is really, really pretty. It's a really pretty colour. Again, if the dye doesn't penetrate all the way through to the bottom, I don't mind, because I'm going to be highlighting it with a natural colour as well, or a very plain, just burnt my arm in the tray, a very plain colour to help pull it all together. Right, there we go. That's ready to go. That's quite nice, that, isn't it? So where's that picture sheet? So there we've got the blue into the spring green, into the spearmint, into the darker blue. But I've gone with the blue down the bottom with this version down here. Oh, wrong, sorry, you can't see. This version I've done here. I've done the blue here. Then I've gone with my spring green up the top, and then my spearmint there. Slightly different shades, but you get the gist of what it is we're looking for. But I think that actually represents that better, because you've got these greeny colours here, then it goes into the blues all the way down here. So I've done it what the picture looks like. Okay, I've not quite followed this line, but I've followed this colour line for down there. There we go. So I shall pop back and see you in a minute once these are all ready, which won't take long, because we haven't got a very strong dye stock. And generally, when you've got a very weak dye stock, the will will take the dye really, really quickly. Okay, so that water's cleared now. That didn't take long at all. And then once I get this wool out and put it in the sink to soak before it goes in the rinser, I will add in my dash of lichen to be soaked up in the fibres and the sage leaf as well. And we'll get them done. Make sure there's no animals in the way, because there's always an animal underfoot in this house when you go to do something which is quite dangerous. And that's that. Look how vibrant that looks. There we go. Put that in the sink as well. Right, so we want a dash of lichen put into this water. Only a little bit because it's a tiny bit of fibre and there's no point putting a lot in. So I'm just going to add that into the water, and that should soak up the dye that's in that tray. And we'll just give that a few minutes. It won't take long. And I need that one for my next one. And then we've got the sage leaf as well. So that's what we'll do with that. I just give it a swish around, flip it over a little bit so that the dye can penetrate all the fibres in there. Turn the heat up a little bit. And just wait for that to cook away. Okay, so the rose fibres in there now, in that little bit of just a dash of teal. Not a lot, but it's come out more greeny, but I don't mind that, not at all. So I now have to look at this one here. So I have got these different shades of greens. Now this says it's pistachio, but I've got a pistachio and it comes out more green than that. It comes out more like this. So what I'm going with is a grassy green. It's like it's called Golden Straw, and I quite like the colour of it. It's got like a little bit of an undertone and a bit of a hidden depth of an actual, where's your spoon when you need it, Joe? There it is. An undertone of green in it, and I quite like the colour of it, so I'm going to go with that. Again, I'm not going to do massive strong dye stocks in here. It looks like tea when it's in the pot, but it's got a yellowy character tone. Then I'm going to add in some pistachio into my pots, and I will probably need to refill one up again. And I've got my pistachio and I'm going in with that one. Now there is a teal there, but it looks like it's more blue. So I have got teal green here, and I'm going to add a dash of dark blue. So I'm going to put my teal in, and it has got a bluey colour, this one, green teal. It has got a bluey tone, but I'm just going to add a tiny hint of a bit more blue in there. Just literally wet my spoon with it, and that's it. That's quite happy with that now. So I want to go down the lichen and sea spray will be my next colours as well. The sea spray I'll have to probably come back and fill up another pot. So the lichen in there. Right, and then I need another pot when these have been emptied, and fill that up with the colour that I want, which is the blue sea spray. When you catch the Highlands and the Welsh mountains and Scotland and things like that in the mountain ranges, the colours that you see, you always think of being really dowdy and dark and dull, but when you really have a look around your surroundings, they're really bright and vivid. Because, like, I mean, that's probably not even that been a sunnier day, yet you've got all these amazing colours all in one sort of viewpoint. Right, so we'll take that off now and get this in the sink and get some clean water in my tray. I'm going to take the water straight from the tap. Because I've just ran that water for my dyes to be soluble. Okay, so we'll plop him there. This is the last one that we're doing now. And then the next part of this video I will film tomorrow and release it Friday. Obviously, once it's all dried. So once again, we'll get the layering done. So we'll put the Injio corn down the side, like so, like that, and use it like a bong. Then we'll get the rose fibre, we'll put her right down the full length of there, and then we'll get this other fibre and we will put that down the middle. Now when I was taking this wool out the sink, it did split, so you'll see that break in a minute, and I'll just add it on to the rest of this anyway. So just layer that up, make sure it's touching the edge of the outer tray so that the colours haven't got another way to escape and run through. I mean, they do anyway, but sometimes it's nice to just persevere and tell it it's who's boss. So I like to think anyway. So we'll just get that in there. So this layering method is right on width from top to bottom, is so you can get block colours. You can do it in the other way as well, but I think this is the better way to do it if you want a gradient colour. If you're using multiple different colours, this is the easiest way to do this. Right, here we go. Excuse the banging, the sun's out, so my neighbours are out making a racket in the garden again. There's never any peace and quiet on our street. Right, so there we go. Citric acid is in the bottom of that tray as well. So we'll get this straw yellow up the top, and then we will put in the pistachio in the next bit. Okay, then we'll go with the lichen green on the next piece. I'm not even sure I'll have room for the other blue, but I think what I'll do is I'll just go straight in with this one, and we can add the other blue when we're blending the different colours. So there we go, there's my yellowy greeny colour. Then we've got the sage and the pistachio, and then we've got the blue all the way down the bottom. There's teal, dark teal blue, and we'll get them. Look at that, that looks smart, doesn't it? That looks really smart. So we'll get that going, and we'll get the dyes put away, and that'll be me done for dyeing for the day. I'll just give that a few minutes. That won't take long to do. This bottom here will probably take the longest, and that lichen, there's stronger tones, stronger colour pigments, so I'll push that up a little bit so the heat gets to them first. And I'll just get the dyes put away. Then Mr. Phil can't tell me off when he comes back from work because I've not put anything away. And that one in there. There we go. So it'll take probably about 10-15 minutes for that to completely saturate away the colours. The heat will traverse up the tray, so when the lighter colours, the lighter stock solution, they'll probably just quite happily with the heat of the tray itself saturate into there. These are the ones that I really need to concentrate on because they are quite strong, bold colours in that tray. I'll leave that like that. I'll be back with you in a minute. I'm just going to turn the heat off now because that is done. It didn't take long at all. It took less than 10 minutes to saturate through. A little bit of dye still left in the bottom of that, but I'm fine because that's completely done. If I do it anymore, I'll end up felting the wool and put that in the sink. So that is Dye Pot Thursday done. I will catch you on the second part of this video, okay, tomorrow morning when all the wheels are all ready and dry, and I will chat to you about how I think they come out and what I plan to do with them next. So here we are the next day after everything's been dried and sorted. Now the Indio cone, I knew it was a funny one to dye with, but I thought I'll do it and see what happens. It's not the best at dyeing with. It doesn't want to take it when it's in the tray. So I think next time I will, when I dye this lot up again, when I dye this again, this fibre, because it's ticking places but not what I was hoping for. It's one of those, when you don't use the fibre for ages, then you remember why you don't use it that often, because it won't take a dye in your tray, which means a little bit more work for me. And I will try the jar method, and if that doesn't work, then we will know for definite that it'll only take cold water dyes. And if that's the case, I won't be buying this to dye with. So yeah, so it's come out, it's got a little bit of colouring in it, but I wanted it to strike a bit harder. Okay, there is a bit of milk fibre. It's not a massive fan neither, but it struck a bit. But we've got some really nice pale colours in there, so that's fine, not a problem. We've got the rose fibre that I dyed up, and that's to go with this blend. See, they've got the exact same colours in there. There's a little bit more, but they were just all being funny the other day, and nobody wanted to take any fibre, and rose is one of my best ones. And there's a little bit there, and it has got a hint of soft cream in there and a little touch of peach. But I don't mind, because some of these colourways that we put together, of course the picture's downstairs, were all to be sort of bold, but more airing on the airy-fairy side of things, because it's got the cream in the background and it's got white in the background in between the colours. So I'm quite happy with the way that's come out. So we've got this one, which is the Wensleydale that we dyed up the other day, and it comes with this other half here. You can see where it's sort of fallen apart when it was in the sink, so there you go. So we've got the Wensleydale, and that was for, I'm sure it was for the mountain range one. Okay, I'll pop the picture up here. So that's for that one. So we'll do, oh, there's some more fibres that we dyed up. There's a nice grey colour which we needed for one of them as well, but I want a really soft grey, so that one's done. And then there's some more, but that's for the wave one. Okay, so that's a bit more as well. And then there's a little bit of trilobal that I dyed up, that sneaked in the tray. This is the Wensleydale that we did dye up for the surf wave. So it goes from this lovely alpiney blue into these fresh greens. So that's another one that needed the whites in there just to help bring it out. And then this was the wildflower one, the picture with the orange centres on the white flower with the grey background. So that's the results of the dye job. I will be filming and releasing the videos for the Storyteller Art Bats next Sunday, and the blend sets, hopefully the blend sets to match them as well. I might miss doing the blend sets this month because I'm needing to keep my stock sort of limited a little bit, because I've got some bits and pieces going on in the background, but we'll see how it comes out and what I manage to do. I may just stick with 100-gram bats and then the 100-gram blend sets, and not do too big a thing, and then you can have a go at yourself, and then if you bought them, then you've got a good decent size amount for blending with. So anyway, yep, that something just caught my eye. That's all we've got for Dye Pot Thursday. Hope you enjoy this. Have a lovely weekend. Wherever you are. We've got some nice weather, and then we've got some really bad awful weather coming as usual. We're in Britain, where else? But hopefully we can get back out in the garden later on in the week. It's supposed to take a turn. We just need some really good thunder. I don't get thunder here. I just want some thunder. It's lovely when it thunders. Anyway, stop waffling, Joe. Get off. Go. Bugger off. I'm off. Take care of yourselves, and don't forget to, if you ever buy anything from the website, once a month you get to use the word Patreon in capital letters, and it will take off a discount off your order, okay, for all Patreon members. So remember just to add in Patreon to get that once a month code. Catch you soon. Bye for now.